Hello YouTube chess lovers, welcome back to the Chess Catalyst. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about selecting the right moves to calculate in chess. So we know all chess is all about calculation, but not every move is worth calculating. So I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on selecting the active moves that require calculation and discarding the moves that don't. So it might take a while, but when you use this step over and over, you will now get used to it and you won't even need to calculate a move to know it is bad. So let's begin. In this position, black just played c5. So what is the threat? This brings me to the first step here. You need to check first of all if the move your opponent made last is a threat or if it can do anything to ruin your position. So in this position here, black is just playing an opening move and c5 is not a threat because one of the moves black could play would be to play c4, but then black would just be losing a pawn unless maybe black is planning on a future trade of playing this move, but then he's actually going to lose that pawn. So c5 for now is not actually a threat. So when we check out that our opponent has no threat, then then look at if there's anything we can do to harm his position at this moment. At this moment, there's nothing we can do to harm his position. So the only thing left would be for us to complete our opening. And in this position, both sides are still not completely done with the opening. The reason I say this is because the rooks are not yet connected. So at this point, what could be our move? We should have two options for us to connect our rooks. Either we play maybe c3 or knight to g3. We could also play c4. Yeah, we could also play c4 to try to maybe get a semi-open file in future on this file here. But then we should look for the most active way for us to complete our opening, and this brings knight to g3. So knight to g3, we have made this square available for the queen, and we are going to move the queen that way. And when we move the queen that way, our rooks are now connected. So that's the first plan. And black plays queen to c7. Black is also doing the same. And at this point, there's no rush. There's no rush for us to just move our queen to e2. We could try to gain an advantage. And what I mean by this is this: whenever you are trying to look for a good move worth calculating, you should look for moves that could also give your opponent your pieces an advantage. So at this point, I know there are a lot of moves to actually calculate, but if you look very well, moves that could give your pieces an advantage at this point would be knight to e5. I don't see any other move. Maybe you could play this, but then the black could just lock up the position. It looks as if black is losing a pawn, but black is actually having an advantage in this position. So that would be a bad move. So, and this move actually does a lot of things. Releases this square for the queen also, and we are kind of adding pressure to the center. And when black takes, we take back with the bishop. Of course, you could try to also calculate which side to take with, whether you should take with the pawn or the bishop. But this is pretty obvious here. You are taking with the bishop, attacking the queen, and your bishop is very strong in the center. So black plays queen to c6, and if you look well, you can notice we have an x-ray checkmate threat. So this is the point to play queen to d2. You don't have to wait for the threat for you to defend. That's one rule of the thumb you need to know. You don't have to wait for the threat for you to defend. So black plays a6 is pretty obvious. Black doesn't quite have a quick action right now because a6 I think is just preparing for this and then for this. Black is trying to open up the queen side to attack on the queen side, but Lasker doesn't allow this. He plays knight to h5. So why knight to h5? Like I said, sometimes you just have to narrow it down. Look at all the moves your pieces could make. And like I told you, when you do this, it will reach to a point that you don't even need to calculate all the moves your pieces could make. At this point, the bishop doesn't have any active moves to actually make. Taking this knight would be quite a bad move because you are giving up a strong bishop for a knight that is not actually active right now. And we don't actually have any other active moves to play. Maybe like I told you, playing this move is very bad. Playing this move is bad because you are kind of giving black an opportunity to open the center, and this battery is a very strong battery. I mean, yeah, this battery is a very strong battery. So we should try to bring our pieces closer to the opponent side, and this brings us back to another rule. Whenever you don't know what to play, try to look for moves that enter your opponent's territory. And this brings us to knight to h5. So black takes. Black doesn't have much moves to respond against this. So black takes, and this is the famous Lasker double bishop checkmate game. So Lasker plays bishop to d3. So one thing is this: when calculating, you don't have to calculate all through. You understand? You don't have to calculate all through. So it was not as though Lasker saw all the moves till checkmate. He just trusted his gut, and after calculating the first three moves, he knew there was a good chance. So let's try calculating this. We take, the king takes, we take, we check, we check, the king moves back, then we take the bishop. If he takes, we check our queen that was here, we check the queen, bring the queen to g4. He has to go back, we then bring the rook, and from there, just three moves ahead will tell you you have a good chance. So Lasker played bishop to h7, captures h7 check, and black had to take. Then white played queen to h5 with a check. Black moves, and now this move I was telling you of, you have to open up the black king. So once you play this move, he has to take. You have to open up the black king. So this move was being played. Black had to take and check. And mind you, if this move is played, then this is checkmate. So black had to move back, and Lasker followed up with this move. So if you notice, well explained, there wasn't actually much difficulty in calculating. This is because there has been this rumor going on in chess that grandmasters, okay, maybe calculate like 20 moves ahead, stuff like that. No, they just calculate few moves ahead. Even Tal himself, when Tal makes sacrifices, he's naturally completely certain if those sacrifices would work. He just calculates a few moves and then makes choices later on. And the queen and bishop batch, he never even got a chance to do anything. And at this point, the only way checkmate, this threat happens, and this is the only way checkmate could be stopped. Yes, at first it looks as if black has enough pieces to play against the white queen, but then after this move, pieces started falling off. Pieces started falling off and black resigned. So this is just a quick video. Yeah, I guess I took some time, but I had to take that time to explain what I meant. So when calculating, it's not actually as complicated as you think. You just have to uh, eliminate the bad moves. There are some moves that you don't even need to calculate at all. And when you eliminate those bad moves, you start calculating the good moves. And these are called candidate moves. So if you want me to make a video on candidate moves specifically, let me know in the comments. And this will be all for this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. Thank you very much.